Hi, Sasha the Paz. Welcome to Engage to this Google Hangout.
Hello, Donald. How are you?
Excellent. We're really excited about having you come over to do a 3-day live broadcast next week.
Yeah,
Um, it's exciting. How are you feeling about it all?
yeah, I'm really excited. I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to meet the people that are going to be there and share my images and how I get them, and what I've done to get where I am.
Okay, excellent. And I know on Monday, obviously, you're doing some shoots on Monday because you're primarily a lifestyle photographer. You're going to be sort of like pre-recording some shoots on Monday, and then you'll be able to share that with people then
Yeah,
throughout the week.
yeah. We're going to be doing two shoots, and with three or four children, two separate shoots, and just doing sort of a walkthrough on how my shoots go. So we'll be watching that on the first 2 days, and then doing an analysis of you know what happened on the shoot, troubleshooting and all sorts of things like that.
Yeah, cool, excellent. So, do you want to, for anybody that hasn't heard of you before, that's kind of interested to know what your background is and your story, do you want to share your story with everyone and how you got to where you're at and how you got into photography
Yeah,
and all the
sure.
rest?
Well, it's quite a common story, I'm afraid, but I've got children. I've got two boys, and I was an artist at the time, and I decided I wanted to sort of take better photographs of my children, and sort of invest in better equipment than a point and shoot camera. So I got my first DSLR, which came with a zoom lens, and went along to my kids' first, the sports day, and thought I'll be really clever and take some cool photos, and realised actually I knew nothing about photography and felt rather silly with this huge camera. So I decided to learn as much as I could about photography, and I taught myself, and then took a lot of photos of other people's children, my friends, and it snowballed from there. And I just realised I could, whether it's because I'm childish myself, I got on with kids. So I was able to take.
Actually, by the way, we
Yeah.
just see an arm coming out from behind you there and getting something.
Okay. That's my boy, Shay. Yeah, so that's how it sort of evolved, and it was. I mean, I had a lot of great fun doing it, but it was quite an experience teaching myself. So, but kids is where I am now. But I started off doing a lot of other work, sort of corporate work and social events and stuff like that.
Yeah, we posted a blog today actually just in regards to you talking about shooting a niche and kind of picking a niche. I mean, how important do you think that is?
So we said again, how important?
Do you think it is that somebody chooses a niche, chooses a certain area of photography and concentrates on that rather than trying to be a generalist?
Yeah, well, I do. I mean, I don't think you'll find many online courses that are just sort of called general photography. They're always specific, and there's a reason why. There's, I mean, I think it's very good to experiment and try different areas of photography to find what you're most passionate about and where your talent lies. But I mean, for instance, so portraiture. Obviously, I've done weddings before, and I do them very well. Lifestyle photography is all about sort of portraiture and everything, experiences and moments and stuff. So it's not to say if you're going to be a child photographer, that's what you have to do, and you can't do portraits elsewhere. But for me, being a child portrait photographer is great because people know to come to me and what they're going to get. So, but in the same token, I also do other photography, but it's personal stuff for me, sort of keep the inspiration going. I'm not saying you shouldn't, if you love dogs as well, then do animals as well. That's great. It's not to say you're not going to be good in other areas, but it's good to sort of try and keep it quite compact.
Yeah.
It helps with your mark.
Yeah. Did it take you a long time to find this style? And did you always like lifestyle, or were you ever drawn to this sort of studio work? What was it about that kind of led you down the path of lifestyle?
I think it was it just happened organically, really. I mean, I never went into a studio. It's not that studios worry me or I'm scared of working with studio lights. It's it's not a look I prefer. I prefer natural looks. I feel that kids have more freedom when they're outside as opposed to in a studio, and I kind of don't like kids to feel scared and sort of intimidated, so I prefer to sort of be outside in the open. I mean, the lifestyle side of it, my style just kind of evolved the way it did. I just found I had this sort of closing up on kids, these sort of tight shots that I would do, and I just liked capturing the different sort of nuances of children as opposed to just sort of, I don't know, it's capturing children's character and stuff, and I found that was my style as opposed to going, right, here's a stage shot here, sit on that log and do that.
Yeah. Sorry, Sasha. What is it about kids, you know, that really draws you to that over, for example, shooting adults?
Oh, okay. Well, it's not to say I don't dislike shooting adults. I like the innocence of children. I'm more drawn to that. Children intrigue me more, and also I know the connection with families. I get it. You know, the love that you have for your kids. I like having the kids' character in my photos and seeing the emotion in families when they see those photos.
Cool. All right, brilliant. We did have a question actually from Claire Williamson before the hangout. Claire asked, I would like to know how to stand out as a children's portrait photographer these days. There are a lot of us photographers out there. Also, it would be good to know your thoughts, Sasha, on reaching your target market. What age group do you like to photograph? And she said that she's really, really looking forward to your class next week. And many of those things yes. Answer, but maybe you can give her just a little bit of feedback on.
And that's Claire, is it? Claire, did you say?
Yeah,
okay. So what was the question? The question is basically what age do I prefer shooting?
Number one, the first question is how to stand out.
How to stand out. For me, to start with, there's no sort of really set age that I prefer to work with. It's kids, and it's all ages produce different sort of. They just produce different results. You get different experiences with different ages. How to reach your target market? Basically, just find your style. Be true to your style and be confident. Be confident. Know your equipment. I mean, that's an obvious one, but just be very sure in what your brand is and what you want your clients to come to you for. If it's babies doing cake smashes, it's babies doing cake smashes, and that's your style and that's what you want to be, and you want to be the expert doing that, then go do that. For me, I want to be the person that people go to when they want slightly different portraits. They kind of want childhood on paper, if that makes sense. They want it not just portraiture or normal portraits. So stick to your style, be true to yourself, and just have the confidence to know. Otherwise, if you don't stick to your style, then people aren't going to know what they're going to get when they come to you.
Yeah. How important do you think? Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm. It's brilliant. How important do you think training is? And did you access a lot of training, or are you kind of self-taught, or how did you kind of get to this point of finding yourself and your style?
I was self-taught. I didn't go anywhere and sort of do any courses in any institutions or anything, and I kind of learned quite quickly. I went straight into it and started teaching myself, and then threw myself into sort of doing as much work, be it paid or not, as possible in any genre, anything. And I learned very quickly. But I think I learned a lot online as well, which is why I'm really happy to be doing this. A lot of online stuff, courses about marketing and branding and everything, and I really wouldn't know as much as I do now without having the online courses that have helped me. And you know, some of it obviously is experience as well. So yeah, I think it's good to learn. It's good to go to different institutions and learn a little bit. But I feel by being self-taught and learning stuff online, I'm kind of a little bit freer in the way I am, and I'm not institutionalized at all.
Like, I think as people look at your work, you know, it's absolutely beautiful, and there's obviously a very clear and consistent style. And I think that that's something that a lot of photographers, myself in the past included, really struggle with defining your own style.
Yeah.
And any kind of pointers for people out there who are maybe struggling to find their style and how they can maybe find what resonates?
Um, I would think about photographers that inspire you. Think about what led you to photography in the first place, and what you're most passionate about. This goes on to talking about the genre again, but think about photographers that inspire you and what they're, because they inspire you for a reason, because of their style. I mean, and I know a lot of people say, don't copy, don't imitate other people, which is very true, but it's not to say that a lot of work and a lot of artists, they're not all unique and original. They've taken their ideas from someone else that's inspired them, and they've made them their own. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's everything wrong with copying, but it's great to be inspired by other people. So you should think about that, and think about your most comfortable way of shooting as well.
Cool.
My most comfortable way of shooting is with a prime lens and being very close to the child. And not from a distance with a massive zoom lens. I like to get in with the kids, and that way, that's how I get sort of the interactions I get with the children.
What's your favorite lens of choice? And are you Canon, Nikon? What are you shooting with?
Canon. I'm a Canon person, and I love the 50mm 1.2. That prime lens is my absolute pride and joy. I love it.
Yeah, cool. I mean, how silly are you when you're photographing kids? I mean, are you somebody who talks to them a lot, and are you kind of a good?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing is, what I'm going to go over in the course as well is talking about children's personalities and knowing when is understanding personalities, when to go charging in and all guns blazing and being really fun, and when to just go in very quietly and understanding the kids' personalities. But normally, I'm up close with the kids, I'm having a laugh with them, I'm teasing them, we're having a good giggle, we're running around. I do shoot a lot on my own with kids. I try and sort of encourage parents to let the kids go off over the age of about 3. And we just have a lot of fun. And even if the kids are very quiet, if the child is very shy and quiet, within about sort of 15 minutes they really come out of their shell. We do have a lot of fun, yeah.
It probably helps to have some kids in your life, to like learn how to be silly, and also understand. I think sometimes, like, what's the big thing that kids are into right now that you can maybe glean a little bit of knowledge about, like what's a favorite cartoon or something like that. Sometimes I think that.
Yeah, I mean, my kids are a little bit older now; they're teenagers. But so when I think about things, and when they liked, I'd be thinking of Pokemon, and that's kind of a bit old school now. Kids are into they're into all sorts. I mean, there's a lot. Thank God Thomas the Tank Engine's still going, and I remember that. But there's a lot of different stuff that kids are into. I can't reel them off on the top of my head, but. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy getting in, and it's all the latest films. I mean, Frozen has completely been a lifesaver on a lot of shoots. Singing away. It's been fun, and thank God I know the words to that song.
Yeah, we're going to get you to do a rendition next week for us. This could be engaged. I think that would be good, actually. Cool. So, I mean, how's the course going to unfold next week? What sort of stuff are you going to cover over the few days, and what should people really be looking forward to?
Basically, what it's going to be is kind of an A to Z of start to finish of running a child portraiture business, and it's aimed at people obviously who know how to take photos and operate a camera. It's not going to be sort of the very, very basics, but it's going to be taking you through, like I said earlier, about the business of children, the personality types, how to handle different personality types. It's going to go over marketing, branding, different light, how to use light, how to harness it and get the best photos you can get, but also working with kids who are very fast and very changeable. There's also going to be an image critique. We've got people coming in, not coming in, but handing in images to be critiqued. So we'll be doing that. We're going to be having a live Skype session with another child portrait photographer called Carolyn Mendelsohn, who's fantastic, and sort of giving her thoughts on her portraiture that she does. What else is there? There's lots of things.
Loads and loads of stuff here. Yeah, you're kind of touching on quite a few different things. I mean, back to kind of the business side of things, a lot of people say that there's a lot of people that say things that think sometimes in the industry, and they don't believe that maybe there is a market for portrait photography out there anymore, that it's kind of died a dead. And I don't know if you've ever heard anybody say that to you before, but certainly you're an example of somebody who is a thriving portrait photographer. You're in London. It's obviously a hard market because, you know, there's so many people and so many photographers, and also you're charging kind of a premium for your service. So I think the information that you're going to give in the course, you know, you're doing this. Yeah.
It's I don't think. I mean, a lot of people would say with social media and sort of the iPhone and Instagram and everything that professional photography, you know, everyone's kind of this pocket photographer now. So why have professional portraiture done? But I think if anything, it's been a positive thing because it's increased people's awareness to sort of photography as an art form, and it's enabled a lot of photographers to be able to sort of broaden, to reach out a little bit wider with their style and their ideas with photography. But there's professional photography is still very much in demand, as far as I'm aware. You know, I think it is. You know, particularly family photography, children, definitely weddings. You know, it's not dying out because of you know, the sudden sort of influx of all social media and everything. I don't think that at all.
Yeah. What is your maybe one tip? I'm not going to ask you for your top tip. You can give that to people next week. But what's a tip that you can maybe give somebody who is a portrait photographer at the moment, and how can they market themselves? What's one thing that you can give them they can take away and implement into their business today to make an impact?
I would consider. I would really consider your relationships that you have with people, not just clients. Other business to business, I would consider those relationships, and make a list of all the relationships that you want to keep for the year ahead, and conversation lists and stuff like that, and how you're going to keep those relationships going. What medium it's going to be? Are you going to meet them in person or, you know, online? And always know that in order to keep those relationships going, you've got to give some value back. You've got to have something ready to give back to whoever it is you're keeping that relationship with. I mean, for example, an editor of a magazine, you know, or a blogger. If you want to be a guest blogger on somebody else's blog, then those are relationships that you have to keep going, and you've got to give to get back. So that's quite an important thing to consider.
Okay, cool. I definitely think that's would be my top tip as well. It's all about relationships, and this business, and probably like most other businesses as well, it's all about helping each other out, and
yeah, definitely.
The way that's authentic as well, and trying to be authentic with it, and not always trying to see what people can do for you, right?
Yeah, it's about giving back to giving to the community as well. Not it's one thing giving to another business to get, you know, to receive as well, but it's giving to the community too, and, you know, local charities and schools and stuff like that. It's get involved with the community.
Okay, cool. So you are going to cover obviously the business thing. We've talked about that, and we're going to talk about pricing as well. Anything you want to say on pricing, or anything you want to kind of feed back to the audience that are tuning in right now?
Say that again. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Anything you want to communicate about pricing? You're going to talk about pricing next week. You know, is there anything people should be thinking about, or what sort of stuff are you going to cover in regards to your pricing next week?
If they're going to, in preparation for next week, what I would, I'm definitely going to talk about pricing, and what I would say is, before you watch, consider what you need to earn in that year. Think about what your outgoings are and what you need to earn, and have that set in your head. That it is. I'm going to talk about how you can think you need to earn, you need to charge the same as another photographer. You need to charge this, you need to charge that. If you don't think about what you need to earn with your business, then it's no good just following Jack down the road and copying him, because his need for whatever he needs for that year might be totally different to you. You need to consider how your business is going to work for you and what you need to do. So, that's a good thing to think about next week.
How important do you think confidence is? And in regards to pricing as well, because I know a lot of people out there aren't confident in their pricing. And they kind of set their prices, and then they're scared when people come in and they're like, will they really?
I know how that feels. Definitely, it's a horrible thing, and it's I think the first hurdle you've got to get over, and everyone's the same, and lot of photographers still have it. You can be in the business for years and you still have an issue with money. You've got to get over the issue that you have about the service you provide and asking for money for it. You've got to get over that sort of hurdle, and once you get over that, and you totally realise that you need to earn money, this is your business, you're not just giving your stuff away all the time, and you provide a service, you get a little bit more confident in what you're providing, and it's important to have confidence in your pricing, because otherwise your client isn't going to take you seriously. If you kind of go, well, like, here you go, have all those images for like 200 quid, your client's going to be like, someone going to take it and go, yeah, great, but others will be like, well, no, maybe I'll just go to that person down the road who, I'm not sure what I'm going to get.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, and I think by having like all your ducks, this is an expression I use a lot, but having your ducks in a row helps you to be confident about your pricing. So if you've got a great brand and your work's looking great, if everything like that's all taken care of, you can be confident in your price.
Yeah. And also, I mean, for me, what works, I mean, I get an awful lot of my work is referrals, and so people refer. I get a lot of clients prefer other people, so they already kind of know my pricing. They get it. They get where I'm at, and that helps your confidence, because you haven't got to keep going over your pricing, and they're coming to you because they know roughly whereabouts you are with your pricing. You went.
Yeah, you're back.
I think you're coming back. You're going a bit fuzzy.
So I feel a bit fuzzy today. Yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's through referrals, so they already kind of know what to expect, really, in regards to kind of where you're priced at and stuff.
Yeah, and you can be confident because they're coming to you. They know sort of where you are on the price range, and that they already know they can afford you or whatever, and you can feel confident in that. It takes a long time. It's taken me years to become confident with my pricing, and probably only since I moved down to London, which was only 3 years ago, I really sort of began to understand my worth and what I was providing to people and how important it was, and that I was providing a good service and what you should charge for that.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So, like we said, you're covering all the business stuff, from pricing to how to get clients to marketing. Talking about social media. We're going to talk about kind of the whole customer experience. We're going to talk.
Yeah, there'll be a whole customer experience. So hopefully, the family that one of the families that we're going to shoot will be coming in on the last day, and we'll be doing a ordering session with that family.
Okay, cool. So they're going to get to see you using like ProSelect and how you actually go through the sales process as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. And you're going to talk about Animoto as well. I think you mentioned, did you?
Yeah, we can. I'm gonna go over marketing tools and which one, the ones
Perfect.
I use.
So that's all the business piece, which is kind of actually worth the price of the course alone. But then you're going to get into, you're going to show people how you shoot. They're going to get to see you do 2 different shoots, so they can learn from how you interact with the client, and you're going to talk about prep as well, aren't you? How to prep the parents and stuff as well.
Yeah, how to educate the clients, because it's very important that you understand that they don't just because they've called you and booked you doesn't mean to say they know the ins and the outs of a photo shoot. They need to be educated on what to expect and what to bring, and mood management, and not to stress out, and because they're booking you because you're the expert. They're putting themselves in your hands, so you kind of got to take that on board.
Yeah, I definitely think I could benefit from some mood management training. This is going to be good. I'm going to be glued to that.
Yeah, we'll definitely cover that.
Cool. Does that work for adults as well?
Definitely, yes. Yeah. Normally it's wine, but you know.
Yeah, okay, cool, perfect. So they're going to get to see you shooting, they're going to get to see everything you do there. Then they're going to get to see the images, and they're going to get to see you doing the post-processing. Anything you want to kind of share about that right now in regards to your kind of post-production and post-processing?
I'll be touching lightly on the editing side. Going through just the simple things that I do just to, you know, how to editing the images. I mean, everybody's editing style is different, so I'm not going to focus heavily on the editing, but ways to really sort of attract the viewer, which images are going to work with parents, you know, which ones parents do want to see, stuff like that.
Do you do all the editing yourself?
Say that again, sorry.
Do you outsource, or do you do all the editing yourself?
No, I do it all myself. I mean, I think for me personally, I like the whole experience that I'm giving to the client, because they're buying into me and my brand, and I want to do the shooting, I want to do the editing, so I do it all personally myself. And a lot of my clients around here, they appreciate that. They know that everything I've done is all part of the process and the experience, and the event that they've had is what I've done. I haven't been outsourcing it. Not to say that I wouldn't outsource, and I don't think it's a good idea. It is, but for me, I prefer to do the editing myself.
Yeah. Do you tend to shoot a lot? Like, do you come back from a session with because I know myself, I probably overshoot on a wedding day, and I have like so many images to go through. So are you like somebody who does have a lot to cull, or are you somebody who's...
Yeah, definitely. I'm a definite overshooter, but I think you have to be with kids. You know, if you've got, I know when I've got the images, I know when I've done it, and I can cull them very, very easily. But I do like to overshoot because I don't want to disappoint, and because I shoot very wide open and kids are very fast, I want to make sure I've nailed that shot. So, you know, if you're going to focus in on the eyes on a 1.8. you got to make sure you get it, and you can't be standing around sort of looking at the images and making sure you've got it every time. So I do overshoot a little bit, yeah, or a lot.
From our new home at 80 to 81 Everington in Derry. So thank you everyone who tuned into our Google Hangout, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks.